Hello there, Internet. Welcome to Scott's Amateur Woodshop. I'm coming at you from my apartment today, not my wood shop. But I get to do a little woodworking here too and enjoy some of the wooden objects that I've made. And so I still make some videos here. Today I'd like to talk to you about what I call the prototype phase or even prototype mindset. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, when we make things out of wood, we often make things just one at a time. Um, that implies certain things about the way we work, right? Um, it means that a manufacturing mindset, for example, is less useful. Um, One thing it means that's kind of cool, I think, is that you don't have to know what you're doing um, until you do it. So I'm going to go on record and say I didn't know what I was doing when I made this stool. And now I love this stool. But I would definitely say it's still in the prototype phase. Um, so I had absorbed some information about chair making from a few different people. Read Peter Galbert's book, forgot most of it, but I got the bug for sure. So I made a pine seat, I saddled it, I made it kind of a weird height. It's not the best height, but it's good for sitting at a table and eating your dinner. It's not good for lounging. um, it's good for putting your boots on, sitting on it while you put your boots on. I made these three legs out of oak that I rived from my cousin's front yard, and I let it be whatever shape it was and just rounded it, and I learned that was really fun and I would do that again. I learned that you have to be careful about your angles. I learned that when you make something with a heavy seat like this and light legs, that it's very tippy. And so the height and the spread of the legs is definitely something to think about with that. It's easy to knock the stool over, not when you're sitting on it, so it's no big deal, but it goes clunk. Probably bothers the neighbors. I got to the base of the stool and realized that some people put rungs in here, but I realized that rungs really aren't that good at providing tensile strength, and that's what you need, because I tried without it, and the legs would spread. If you sat this on a linoleum floor, the legs would spread a little when you sat into it. So I thought, what you need here is tensile strength. So I got out my dividers, plotted some points, and connected them with paracord. And what I learned from that was that it's really great. I would definitely do it again. I also did not wedge the joints, and one of the joints failed, actually. So this pops out occasionally, which, because of the paracord, is no big deal. It can just pop back in. But because I use PVA, it means that I need to scrape off all the glue before I can re-glue it. And so one thing I learned from that is that for things like this, I'm definitely going to prefer hide glue. And I'm probably going to use liquid hide glue because that seems to be the easiest. And also, I'm definitely going to wedge these in the future. And I might experiment with using the metal wedges that are sometimes used with axes, just to see what that's like. So I'm still experimenting with this. The underside has a little bit of the beginning. You can see I planed a little spot here with a double convex plane. Beginning of a handhold maybe, but that's not quite done. That's something I might continue to play with. Getting these leg joints better is something I'm going to continue to play with. And I've gone on to make other stools. There's another video where I showed a shorter stool that I did for my son, and you can see the evolution from this to that. If you think about it, I kept the paracord, but I made it a better height. It's like 16 inches high, whereas this one is, oh, let's see. Yeah, this one is 27 inches high. No. Did I do that right? 18. Yeah, sorry. It's about 23 inches high. It's too high for most things. It's okay some of the time. Because it's so high, it tilts down towards the front. That's good, right? So anyway, that's one example of something where um, I didn't know what I was doing, and I'm still learning because of it. And it doesn't mean you can't make other things. And so it's not perfect, so what's the problem? At least I got something done. Um, I made another video showing this cutting board. It's another example of something that's still kind of in the prototype phase. Um, I docked off one of these corners with a handsaw. The other I did with a plane, so it came out more rounded, so they're different. Am I worried about them matching? Well, a little bit. I mean, I might want them to match at some point, but I still have hand planes. I can always add more oil. So I'm not that fussed about getting it perfect on step one. I'm using this, learning from using it, and then feeling free to add more features as I go. That is a great feedback loop to have. I have some tiny little double convex planes I've thought about running a racetrack around here to form a juice groove. And, I may do that, I may not, but it's not stopping me from using it and worried about using it. I wasn't so worried about using it perfectly that I was too scared to make it. So, again, this prototyping mindset has served me, I think. I'll show you something that's nearing the end of its prototype phase. This is a little weaving doodad for my mom. It's called a warp spreader, I believe, and only weavers will know what I'm talking about, I guess, but apparently you can use this to get between the threads and spread them apart and hold them, and then do a little surgery, such as if you have a broken thread or something. So this was another thing where I didn't know quite what I was doing. I cut it out on the bandsaw because I was near a bandsaw. I used a photograph that I literally stuck to this piece of walnut. I whittled it using a knife like this one, like this Mora 120, which I'll show you. Big handle, little blade. I have another video about these. I used one of these sanding sponges. It was very nice to put it on a surface and run this along it. Let me see if there's anywhere that still needs a little tuning. Maybe this edge, right? And even now, as I get to the part where I want to put some finish on this, I will I'll choose a finish that I'm happy to maintain, and I'll use one that goes on top of itself pretty easily. I like to use wipe-on polyurethane for a lot of things when they need a durable finish. And since this is going to be touching yarn, I don't want it to be bleeding oil or wax too much. But if we put this warp spreader into action and we find that it doesn't serve its purpose as well as it needs to, we can make another one and we can do it differently, or we could modify this one. And if we do modify this one, we can just sand or cut the spot that needs it, and then apply more of this, this wipe-on poly after maybe doing a light sanding in between to give it some tooth to stick to. This is kind of fun to see, right? It always kind of lights up the wood. So even though this is, finished, the prototyping phase can continue if needed. I think there's a lot of good finishes for this. I really like wiping urethane because it's hard to screw it up. But my real point there is really about choosing something that you're comfortable with, rather than that specific finish. So I think the prototyping mindset is a great thing. And I think that it's probably underused. I think that for individual people making individual things, we should probably use it more than we do, because we'll get more stuff done and we'll learn more. And the only downside is maybe you have some unfinished looking things around your place, and I think that's just comes with the territory, and hopefully we accept that. So that's pretty much the end of my video. There are buttons down here. You may be aware, if you're on YouTube, I encourage you to use them all as you like, as you see fit. Check out the description. Maybe I'll put links to other videos in there. And hope you can bring flexibility to your making and your thinking. And I hope that you have an excellent day. All right, bye now.